The night was supposed to be just another regular season matchup in Major League Baseball, but what unfolded quickly turned into a shocking and unforgettable scene. The crowd came expecting high-level competition, dramatic moments, and perhaps even a walk-off win, but instead, they were left speechless by one of the most gruesome injuries witnessed on a baseball field in recent memory. From the very beginning of the game, the energy inside the stadium was electric. Fans were on their feet, cheering every pitch and swing, but little did they know that by the middle innings, the focus of the game would no longer be on the scoreline. Instead, it would be on a player writhing in pain on the ground, teammates and opponents surrounding him, and a stadium filled with stunned silence. The play that led to the injury happened in the blink of an eye, but the image remains burned into the minds of those who saw it live. A sharp ground ball was hit down the line, and the fielder instinctively rushed to make a play. What looked like a routine attempt quickly spiraled into disaster. His foot planted awkwardly, his leg bent at an unnatural angle, and the instant everyone realized what had happened, gasps filled the stadium. Players on both sides immediately dropped their gloves and rushed toward the fallen athlete. Some turned away instantly, unable to watch what had just occurred. Others stood frozen in disbelief, their hands covering their heads. Even the broadcasters struggled to find the right words, their usual enthusiasm replaced with somber tones. The training staff sprinted onto the field as the crowd's energy shifted from excitement to shock. The medical team quickly surrounded the player, stabilizing his leg while trying to ease his pain. The look on his face told the entire story. This was not just a minor tweak or something he could shake off. This was serious, and everyone in attendance knew it. What made the scene even more unsettling was the reaction of his teammates. Some were visibly emotional, with eyes filled with tears, while others kept pacing back and forth, unable to process what had just happened. The opposing team's players also showed respect and concern, walking over to offer words of encouragement despite being rivals on the field. The stadium, which had been so loud just moments earlier, fell into complete silence. You could hear the trainers giving instructions, you could hear the stretcher wheels rolling onto the field, and you could even hear fans whispering in disbelief. It was one of those rare moments in sports when the game itself becomes secondary to the health and well-being of a player. The replay was shown only once on the broadcast, and for good reason. It was graphic, unsettling, and the type of injury that makes everyone, fans and players alike, instantly realize how fragile an athlete's career can be. The broadcasters immediately stated they would not show the replay again out of respect for the player and his family. This type of injury reminds everyone that behind the glamour of professional sports, there is always the risk of devastating setbacks. Players dedicate their lives to the game, putting their bodies on the line every single day. And in just one misstep, everything can change. As the medical staff carefully lifted the player onto the stretcher, the entire stadium stood up to applaud. It was a show of respect, encouragement, and solidarity. No matter what team fans were rooting for, in that moment, everyone was united in sending strength to the injured player. The image of him being rolled off the field, covering his face with his hands, will remain one of the defining snapshots of the season. His teammates walked alongside the stretcher, patting his shoulder and offering words of support. Opponents tipped their caps in respect. It was one of the rawest displays of humanity in sports. After the player was taken off the field, the game resumed, but it was clear that the energy was gone. Players moved differently, their minds still replaying the injury in their heads. The stadium remained quieter than usual, with fans more focused on getting updates about the player's condition than on the actual score. What makes this incident even more heartbreaking is that the injured athlete had been having a strong season. He had become a fan favorite not only for his performance but also for his resilience and work ethic. His journey to reach the major leagues had been filled with challenges, and just when it seemed like he was finally getting the recognition he deserved, fate dealt him a devastating blow. For fans watching at home, social media quickly became a flood of reactions. Many expressed their shock and sadness, while others sent messages of support. Hashtags with the player's name began trending almost instantly, showing that this injury had resonated with people far beyond just the fans in the stadium. Sports journalists began digging into the history of similar injuries, noting how long recoveries can take and the psychological challenges players face when trying to return to form. Comparisons were made to past players who had suffered gruesome injuries but managed to come back stronger. Those stories offered a glimmer of hope in what otherwise felt like a dark moment. Former players also weighed in, sharing their experiences of recovering from serious injuries. Many talked about the mental toughness required to not only heal physically but also to overcome the fear of re-injury. Their words added perspective and gave fans a deeper understanding of the road that lies ahead for the injured athlete. Meanwhile, the player's family, who had been in the stands, were escorted to meet him at the medical facility. Cameras respectfully avoided showing their reactions, but reports confirmed that they were by his side as he was transported for further evaluation. The team's manager spoke briefly after the game, his voice heavy with emotion. He said that baseball didn't matter in that moment and that everyone's thoughts were with their teammate. He promised that the team would rally around him and support him in every possible way during his recovery. For the fans, the wait for official updates began. Reporters camped outside the team's clubhouse, medical centers, and press rooms, eager to provide the latest news. The uncertainty made the night feel even longer, as everyone wanted to know the severity of the injury and whether the player's career was in jeopardy. It's in moments like this that sports fans realize how quickly narratives can shift. One minute you're analyzing a pitcher's era or debating lineup choices, and the next you're praying for a player's health. The unpredictability of sports is part of what makes it so captivating, but it also comes with moments of heartbreak like this one. When an injury of this magnitude happens, it transcends rivalries and statistics. It becomes a reminder that athletes are human beings first and competitors second. Their dedication, passion, and sacrifices are often taken for granted until something like this reminds us how fragile their careers really are. The aftermath of this injury will undoubtedly shape the rest of the season for both the player and his team. Lineups will change, strategies will be adjusted, and the emotional weight of the incident will linger in the clubhouse. For the injured player, the journey to recovery begins now, and it will be one of the toughest battles of his career. Fans know that recovery won't just be about surgery or rehab, it will also be about mental strength, perseverance, and the ability to push through frustration and setbacks. Every step he takes in his recovery will be closely followed, with supporters rooting for his eventual return. As days go by, updates will trickle in, medical reports, timelines for recovery, and statements from the player himself. Each piece of news will be met with intense interest, as fans desperately want to see him overcome this obstacle. The baseball community is known for rallying around its injured stars, and this case will be no different. Already, messages from other players, coaches, and even celebrities have begun pouring in, showing that the player's impact goes beyond just his performance on the field. For young athletes watching, this moment is a sobering lesson about the risks of competitive sports. It shows that while glory and success are possible, danger always lurks, and one wrong step can change everything. Yet it also shows the resilience of the human spirit and the importance of support systems. The footage of the injury will undoubtedly circulate online, but most fans will choose to remember the player not for this moment of pain but for the countless highlights and memories he's provided over the years. His legacy will not be defined by one injury but by the way he responds to it. Over the years, MLB has seen its fair share of devastating injuries, pitchers struck by line drives, fielders colliding at full speed, and batters hit by fastballs. Each incident shakes the sport to its core, but it also highlights the courage of those who risk it all every time they step onto the field. As the days pass, fans will keep replaying the image in their minds, the awkward landing, the immediate collapse, and the collective gasp from the crowd. It's the type of scene that etches itself into baseball history, unforgettable for all the wrong reasons. And yet, there is always hope. Baseball is filled with comeback stories, with players who refused to let injuries define them. If there's one thing fans know about this player, it's that he has the heart and determination to fight his way back, no matter how long it takes. The road ahead is uncertain, but the support from fans, teammates, and the entire baseball community will give him strength. He may be down now, but he is far from out. His story is not over, it's simply entering a new, challenging chapter. In time, the memory of this night will evolve. Today it feels like tragedy, but one day it could become the foundation of an inspiring comeback. Fans will remember not just the injury but the resilience, the hard work, and the eventual triumph that followed. Baseball, at its core, is about more than wins and losses. It's about stories, emotions, and moments that connect people across generations. This injury, as devastating as it is, will become part of that larger story, a reminder of both the risks of the game and the incredible strength of those who play it. For now, fans wait, pray, and send their support. The season will go on, but it will carry the weight of this moment. Every time this player's name is mentioned, people will remember the night when the stadium fell silent, when rivalries didn't matter, and when everyone came together to support one man. That unity, that compassion, and that raw display of humanity is what will be remembered most. Yes, the injury was one of the ugliest we've seen on a baseball field, but it also revealed the best of what sports can bring out in people, the ability to come together in difficult times. And in the end, that's what will carry him forward. Not the pain, not the setback, but the overwhelming support of those who believe in his strength to return. This is not the end of his story, it's the beginning of a powerful comeback that fans will never forget.